I live in South Shore. It's a beautiful community that most people don't really know about. That's what I love best about it. We're right on the lake. We don't have traditional amenities, but we have beautiful natural resources that I love.
South Shore was annexed to Chicago in 1889. The World's Columbian Expedition nearby in 1893 encouraged sale of land, and many middle-class white families from Washington Park moved to South Shore because immigrants and African Americans began to populate Washington Park. This phenomenon is known in history as white flight.
Steel mill workers populated the neighborhood at the time, working in the area's factories. The demand for steel in Chicago and therefore steel mill workers rose as skyscrapers became popular. In addition, the neighborhood's location by Lake Michigan made it easier and cheaper to transport product, so more factories opened up which employed even more workers. Other transportation developed as well, including a railroad running through the heart of the area, one that still exists today. The freight industry was instrumental in attracting workers and residents to the area.
During the 1920s, immigrants and African Americans began to move into South Shore. This again caused white flight, and by 1970, the neighborhood was predominantly populated by African Americans. By 1990, the middle-class white neighborhood had turned into a stable middle-class black neighborhood. Today, about 94% of the neighborhood consists of low to middle-income black families.
In the 1940s, during World War II, the community was famous for its Victory Gardens. These were gardens that grew food for residents so more resources could go towards the war effort. We met with Gabriel Piemonte, running for 5th Ward Alderman, the alderman of the area, who told us that the community remains a food-based area even today. There are community gardens on many blocks, managed by residents, as well as food pantries. Gabriel told us he hopes the community will remain this way in order to become more self-sufficient. This will require the support of the entire community to return the gardens to their former glory after some years of neglect.
Gang violence began in the neighborhood around 1980, reaching its peak in the 1990s to 2000s and still continues today. An area of South Shore was nicknamed Terrortown because of the gang's Black B stones and gangster disciples that patrol the streets. Abandoned or deteriorating buildings are common crime scenes. Even today, the area is known for its violence and high incident rate. This gives the neighborhood a bad reputation, causing many middle-class families to move away and creating concentrated poverty in the area. Concentrated poverty, or a large population of low-income people in one area, often leads to an even bigger surge in crime rates, unemployment, and housing loss. Now the neighborhood is attempting to recover from the crime surge experienced in the 1990s. Middle-class residents are attempting to rebuild the community by opening new stores and recreational facilities. The Obama Presidential Center was recently approved for construction, an example of how the people of South Shore are striving to make the neighborhood a more valuable place regardless of its dangerous reputation.
Ayana Rivers, our volunteering supervisor, decided to take over an old garden in 2013 and has since renovated it into a flourishing growing space. This is not uncommon in South Shore. Many neglected spaces have found new owners and new uses. However, the neighborhood is also struggling against gentrification, which may reverse the progress made by destroying the newly renovated areas. For example, the South Shore Cultural Center, a popular public amenity that has existed for decades, is now being replaced by a new golf course in order to draw in a higher income household. This leads to eviction of lower income families.
They don't like the development coming in. They want more community benefits tied into the development that's coming in. They're concerned of gentrification and displacement. That's a big concern for our residents, especially knowing that we probably have a mixture of low, moderate, we need affordable housing options. And when you have that kind of development coming in, affordable housing becomes non-existent. What do I think about gentrification? I think that it's coming. I mean, we want to be mindful of what's happening.
South Shore might be known as a dangerous neighborhood, however, it has a lot of unrecognized beauty. For example, Rainbow Beach Park with an amazing skyline view and playgrounds, and Stony Island Art Banks, known for its art that represents the cultural history of the neighborhood.
South Shore is a good and stable place for families to live, and our vision is to make South Shore a warm neighborhood again prior to the white flight with more racial and cultural diversity. The solution to attain our vision is asking the city to spend more money and bring back establishments such as the cultural center that will work towards appealing to families. This will take approximately 10 years because of the time needed to build the said establishments and for people to notice it. Once the people start moving in, our long-term vision is for South Shore to be a neighborhood that is the safest it can be, with many events sponsored by the community for the community. We want for residents to work on restoring their community while maintaining unique local culture. Our vision is for South Shore to be a safe place where families are hoping to live. Sunflower seeds.
He had a worm. No, he didn't poop. He had a worm in his mouth.
Oh, I thought he pooped.
No, I'm not interested in the poop.